Can you hear me, Fred?
I'm muted again, so nobody
Oh,
heard that.
yeah,
God
I
damn.
couldn't. Yeah, I couldn't hear any when you went through when you
So
were browsing.
thank you
Yeah.
for your patience, everyone. Oh my god, I always forget to unmute myself. So welcome to the LIBERcast, and welcome to everyone who's going to be there, who's listening to it now, and thank you for your patience. God damn, I was talking for like a minute without no one hearing me. Um, so thank you for your patience, and I'm part of the One Great Work Network.com. It's a place where we can get all kind of useful information with different people who are like all awesome, like filled with wisdom and knowledge. So go there; it's free. There's plenty of stuff like to explore, and that it's about freedom and the occult. So and I want to publicly thank Caroline Riley from the shadow work community. Um, she has a website about the shadow work, and she's offering a course, and it's awesome. It's a shadow work community website, so I encourage people to go there. So thank you. How do we call you? Because
Yeah, just you could just call me Kurt. Yeah, that would work. Yeah.
okay,
Yep.
I mean I I didn't know how to pronounce your name because it's like a multiple like.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. That's okay. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, yeah. It's just
So
yeah. I just it's like initials for KWH Olin. So, yeah, but
thank you for being there and to share this information with us. And
no, you're welcome for it. Yeah.
we're gonna talk about let's introduce quickly your path and your work and where we can get it.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, so last year I wrote a book called "A Patriot's Rebirth." I have two versions. One is bridged and one is unabridged. So it just depends how, if you can. Some people are a little more sensitive to some of the scenes and unabridged versions. So I made one so the message could still get through, and if people are that are kind of a little wheezy of you know um, gore type of topics, they can get the abridged version. So I started this path, but pretty young actually. I mean, when I really got into the Michael Asarian and New World Order stuff was probably when I was about 16, 17 years old. Actually, I was one of the first people I actually um, found was I think Michael Asarian, because I was very interested in Atlantis and I just typed that in and then all his videos came up, and that really opened the door for me. Like more more detail and more more the historical background of things. But I was brought up. My parents brought me up pagan, I guess you could say. We they had a mixed bag of stuff. We did a lot of Norse stuff, and I remember my dad. He went for initiation. What they do. He had a claw, like a eagle's claw, or I mean a talon. I mean, and then you would puncture that, and then you would just a little bit of blood. It wasn't like anything, but just what the Native Americans kind of do. And we used to, and my parents very open minded. My my dad, he was he's basically a mosquito scientist, and then he went into the pretty high into the pharmaceutical companies. So he had a lot of insider knowledge, and he would tell me things that would happen. He was in the army, Fort Detrick, Maryland, and he used to work on viruses and stuff. And he'd like tell me he had well, I you'd have to talk to him about that. I don't he hasn't okayed me to talk about some of the things he saw in there, but there was some pretty crazy stuff and some things that I know for myself and him that are true. A conspiracy that it's not even really a conspiracy anymore. It is fact. So, but I'd have, like I said, I'd have to get his permission on that. He's a little still. He doesn't want to get killed. So I guess yeah, but yeah, I guess that pretty much sums it up. And so yeah, the book writing the book almost made me go kind of crazy. So there was a lot of sleepless nights, and I don't know. If you see, you can find out more about that on Tsarian's interview last year. And yeah, so I it just it was like electricity going through my body. I don't know what it was. It was telling me I had to do something. I had the idea 10 years ago, but I had the idea of the book 10 years ago, but I just didn't put it. Finally, got my ass and actually went up and started writing it last year, and then I just couldn't stop. So now I'm probably more books. I'm planning on two more in the series. I'm not sure exactly when they'll be written, but yeah. So yep, pretty much sums it up, man.
I'm unmute myself again.
Okay.
Um, what what are you talking in this book? Just quickly, so people can like know about this a little bit.
What the topic is? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's about a guy that a revolutionary soldier. Well, he's a blacksmith. That's his main thing, and his parents get killed in the Son of Liberty, the Tea Party, and his whole family gets killed, and then he's really angry. So he joins up into the Continental Army, and joins Washington and their Continental Army, and fights some of the battles in the Revolutionary War. But the main point of it is about he when he Thomas Jefferson. It's a little fictional. Most of it's fact, but there's some of the conversations are a little fictional, and I clearly show what's fact and what's not. People can look at that, but anyways, I found out that Thomas Jefferson and Hamilton and obviously the Federalists they didn't get along, and Hamilton was trying to bring in well he did actually he brought in a central bank pretty much in the birth of America, so that was like early 1790s. He so and then a lot. What the worst thing about it is it was backed up by Rothschild, so that was backed by the Rothschild Bank. So they were he pretty much put us in debt right in the beginning after we won the war, and it just goes through it's tons of different conspiracies, but it goes through time and well he dies in his and as a spirit he floats through time and sees what happened to the United States and what perverted it, and it has a lot about the banking, but there's other conspiracies, a lot of FDR taking confiscating the gold, making people line up and give up their gold or they go to jail, and a lot of stuff about Woodrow Wilson, and it just pretty much some things people probably know and a lot of stuff people don't know. So and then yeah, so then he's reborn in the 1980s, late 1980s, and then he's basically gets his revenge um, and starts helps start the Second American Revolutionary War, and I'm very specific on it. It's not civil war. That's what the elites want. They want civil war. They want us fighting with each other. So, and I know that's what they're trying to do with the liberals and conservatives, and they're trying to turn them against each other and all this. And that's where I'm trying to stop that. I'm saying, okay, if we're going to have a war, then we're going to have a war with the puppet masters. We're not going to have a war with ourselves, because that's what always happens every time in history. It's we land up fighting somebody, the black nobility and the Illuminati's wars. So this time I said, well, yeah, we have to target. Again, this is in the book. I'm not saying actually do this, but it's a scenario of what could happen if we took the war to the right people. Yeah. So
So, yes, there's the what if it happened the
yes,
other way,
yeah.
Um, I don't see it like I don't even know if uh even revisionist history is based. You know what I mean by that?
Oh yes,
It's
yeah.
very hard to discern and dig up the truth.
Hmm.
With
Yeah.
all this stuff, all this noise that it's coming from everywhere. So
Especially
you have
Hamilton and the Federalists, what they did to the Constitution. Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's
they're
so
using
yeah,
that as a false choice. They're using it as a weapon,
yeah.
and this is mind control.
Oh yeah,
Essentially.
yeah.
So can you talk to us a little bit about what the constitutionalists were thinking about natural law? What was the
Yes.
connection there?
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So if anybody wants to reference the article, it's on my website on blogs. The transition to natural by reforming the Constitution. So yeah, when I did some research here, I found that Thomas Jefferson it was actually influenced by John Locke's ideas of natural law, and he actually implemented them into the Declaration of Independence and Bill of Rights. Well, and other people too, um, but where it says, it says right for liberty and the pursuit of happiness and unalienable rights. Now that's directly that's influenced by natural law. Yeah, and there was, I believe, Sam Adams too was interested in that, and Thomas Jefferson was I don't like a lot of the forefathers. I used to when I was a kid, but now that I researched them, well, actually, I was always against the Federalists, but Ben Franklin, Hamilton, James Madison. I believe, and a lot of people like myself believe that they were agents of the Illuminati, and they actually um, tried to turn it into a well, they opened up the Constitution for a federalist system, and that's what they wanted. Um, so yeah, but just so people, I just try to clear up that again, I didn't live back then, but this what I've heard and how Thomas Jefferson writes. I believe that some of them were actually did not want. Some of them actually were had good intentions for the country, and then there was people that had more money or power that took it over. So yeah.
I mean, we know who are the builders. There's no secret about that. You
Hmm.
know,
Yes.
it's the level of how much they put energy into building these, because we're not only talking about America, we're talking about Canada. Talk
Yes. Yep.
where our history is very close to one another.
Hmm. Hmm.
With the conflict, and the monarchies and
Yep.
all these
Yeah.
things that,
Very similar. Yep. All based on.
revolutions, you know things like that. And I think our all history is, maybe because people forgot about natural law, you
Yeah.
know
Yeah.
with the
Yeah.
time.
And yeah, interestingly enough, Hamilton and the Federalists, they were actually against the state said that they would not ratify the Constitution unless the Bill of Rights was added to it, and Hamilton was really against it. He didn't like it, and he didn't. I have that in the article, but he didn't want it. He didn't want them specifically defined so he could kind of screw around with the language and confuse people. So yeah, I'm a big and like in the book I actually real historical account. Hamilton is actually killed in a duel. Actually, it was Aaron Burr and him, and they had a they had a duel together, and they shot him in the gut, and he had a real painful death. So I was kind of happy about that. At least he got it, got it in the end. But yeah, I cannot I can't stand Hamilton, and I hate that they have musical our system, the federalist system, current system, they just glorify. I mean, I saw that stupid musical, and it's like, why didn't they glorify Thomas Jefferson or something? No, but let's glorify the Federalist. So, yeah.
Yes, they were, most of them. Let's talk about your little, how you call that, your on your web page, the
Hmm.
transition to natural law by reforming the Constitution.
Hmm.
Can you expand on that a little bit?
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, so what my proposal is, obviously we know they messed around with it, and they put like subjects and other language, like slave like language, in there. So I had a patriot group last year that I used to hang out with for a while, and we used to talk about things. And one of the persons, one of the ladies, she was an anarchist, and she was very against the Constitution. She was like, "Well, I don't want, because our group was talking about, you know, trying to bring it. Well, one of the leaders would say, let's bring it back to the Constitution." And he said, well, wait a second, there's problems in there, and there's language in there. And I said, she wanted to, I'm not sure, but she seemed to like, she wanted to just scrap the whole thing. And I said, well, I don't think we need to go that radical. I think we can rewrite it and take out the language that Hamilton in, because it's not going to be very popular, especially with the general public. I mean, if you I believe in natural law too, but I just don't think, like, to jump to that all of a sudden with the general public, you're probably going to have a revolution. So you have to have some transitional period, and make the Constitution more compatible with it, and then maybe after that, people will be like, okay, well, or it just, at least it just, or just write it the way it's supposed to be written. And I would be willing, for other people, I'd be willing to help frame another constitution, maybe even a Declaration of Independence, but that would have to be, the military would have to be more supportive of us on that part, before you do a Declaration of Independence. you're asking for war at that. You got to be able to back yourself up with that kind of stuff. So that would have to be something that would legally happen internally, I think. And so again, this might not happen. I'm just trying to warn how to fix it. And if people don't listen to it, that's their problem. But
Do you think I mean, this the political aspect is more of a submissive solution. I
oh
think most people should be working on one's a betterment and
mhm. Individual,
you
yeah,
being becoming smarter, you know,
yes,
and
yeah, that is the
the
first
problem
person.
with this is like constitutions um are contracts.
Hmm. Hmm. That's true. Yeah.
So and that's the I wanted to bring back this comment I made before we start the podcast is that is that applying to the people who didn't sign it, you know, and this
Oh
is
yeah,
the nature of these things, the natures of contracts.
yeah. I agree
So,
with the yeah 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 maybe, and I'm open to that too. Like I'm very open to people's suggestions. So yeah, maybe not. Yeah, change the terminology, not make it like it's a
I think
contract. Yeah.
the key is on spiritual, intellectual, and emotional sovereignty
Hmm. Hmm.
as a
Yes.
human. So we cannot afford more divisions.
Yes, yes. Well, that's true. Yeah. Well, and that's what'll get me to this point. In my book, I actually add a clause that could be added to the Constitution to make sure that doesn't happen, and it goes. It is. I'm trying to think here. I have it in the memory banks here. If the activity does not violate another's constitutional rights or basic rights, it may not be voted upon or violated. So that means that because we have this Republican and Democrat Party, and what I point out is they divide our basic rights. Like the Republican Party, they want to take, at least in the past, they're still kind of sneaky. They want to take away the right to use certain herbs and drugs, and then the Democrats, they want to take away the Republicans' guns, and those are both already protected. So we need to make it more clear that no, you're not even going to put that on the ballot anymore. It's not going on the ballot. Nobody's voting on it because it's like a review board. You're not allowed to even put it up because it violated somebody's basic right. You're not going to vote on
Sure.
somebody that's already protected, and I think that would actually clear up the division. That's what I'm trying to. I'm actually trying to unite. I'm trying to stop this, and I know it's like these Elon Musk is and certain um, I think they're really just they're fueling a division with the hate for the liberal and the conservative side, and that's not helping us unite. So what I'm saying is like, hey, liberals, you can take your drugs, you can have your gay sex, gay marriage, whatever, you can do whatever you want. But leave the Republicans alone. Don't be trying to take their guns and all that. And then we all can, so I don't really see the problem. If nobody's voting against their rights, then people should pretty much get along with that and bring it back to the way it was supposed to be, at least with Thomas Jefferson's vision of it. So,
What do you think about abolitionism?
abolitionism. That's you're talking about like African Americans, like that, like abolitionists, and then um, like trying to stop slavery. Is that what you're saying? Or when you use that term?
Abolitionism is the abolition of authority, of slavery.
Oh, like abolishment of slavery? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. No, I
I mean,
totally
I
agree with that.
mean, I mean, in every aspect,
Oh,
in the
yeah.
modern
Yeah.
world.
Oh, yeah. No, and that's why I agree it should be natural law. I mean, it's a lot of common sense. You don't steal somebody, you don't hurt somebody, and you don't. interfere with their pursuit of happiness. So if they want to take drugs, that's their dude. That's their own thing. And if they want to have guns, then they can do that. But although I would like to clarify too, like this is where
The connection is leaving us. I'm gonna wait a little bit. Um, so I wanted to talk about this because I mean, natural laws are part of nature, and there are principles. So we don't have to ask them.
oh no, yeah,
We
no
already
ask.
have them.
Yes, we want to declare. We want to declare. We're not asking. We want to declare.
Yes.
Well, put it in
Yeah.
perspective. Hey, we this is a God given rights. This is not your. We're not going to ask permission from anything. I'm not going to ask permission to smoke some weed or drink or any or use a
Yeah.
gun. I should not. Yeah, that's what annoys me. Like I got to ask permission. It's like it's like forget that. It's like yeah, that's
This
really.
this this is an interesting conversation. What is your definition of natural laws?
I took it. Well, you want my definition or just like the common
Both.
definition? Okay, yeah. So, well, first I'll start out with their definition of it. At least there's a couple. So, here.
I mean, I come from more the Hermetist side, from the
Oh,
occult
okay.
side, and natural law are very clear. For me,
Oh,
this is the definition I have is very clear. But
okay.
I wanted
Yeah.
to have your
Okay.
definition.
Yeah. So, definition natural in philosophy, system or right or justice held to be common to all humans and derived from nature rather than from the rules of society or positive law. So yeah, I mean, it's basically it's to me it's just more common sense. You don't hurt, you don't steal. You could protect yourself if somebody's trying to attack you or something, but you don't just go ahead and do unnecessary violence or coerce somebody into doing something or like the police or something. So um, yeah, I mean, that's kind of how I take it. Just more of observing nature and seeing how. I mean, again, those are conscious beings. You kind of got to put that into perspective, but you basically just study how nature works and what the rules are apply. And if you look at the animals, they're not polluting. They're not putting like a bunch of toxic chemicals all over, and they're not spilling stuff over. They work with nature. They don't add something to it. It's going to pollute it.
They don't need to know what natural law are. They're imbued with it.
Yes, yep, that's true. Yep. But yeah,
And
that's
yeah,
that's how I look at it. But yep.
essentially, it's the golden rule. Essentially,
Hmm.
what it means. It's don't steal anything.
Yes, yep, that's right. Yeah, yep.
So I mean, constitutions or les chartes des droits et libertés in Quebec or in Canada, they're essentially what you cannot do.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it is a bunch of rules to stop you from doing it. Yeah, and
Um,
that's the thing. It goes against the Bill of Rights. Like it kind of contradicts the Bill of Rights. Like at least in our country. Yeah,
yeah, I mean everywhere,
yep,
everywhere,
yep,
because we're talking about English colonies.
yep, yep.
You know I'm sure you're well aware of the like the English colonies history.
Oh yeah, yes,
They're
yeah.
all horror stories.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's true.
Canada,
Yeah,
Australia,
yeah,
America, South America,
yeah.
Africa, you know,
They were better off when a lot of them were better off when they were in tribes before.
crazy.
Yeah, like they're probably better off than tribes because now they because a lot of them, they said they're dental. Like I think in Africa before they came in and colonized it, they had really good teeth. They had, and then once they introduced the sugar and other toxins and pollution, and their health started to decline, their teeth started rotting, and yeah, I mean, yeah, it's horrible. I mean, I know that's the Africans, but I think one of the first people they started with was the Druids and the Irish people over there, and like one of the first ones they did, and they just I wish some ways I wish I, not completely, but I wish I could go back to some of that, because they just butchered so much, and then they stole the knowledge, and and then built inverted everything and built their creepy churches on top of the
Yeah.
land and everything, and it's, yeah, that angers me. Michael Asarian, he goes into that, like
Well,
extensively.
there's plenty of stuff there.
Yeah,
Their
yeah,
religions. They brought their religions with them.
yeah,
And
yeah,
I think there's a lot of influence from a theological side of it. You know, I think these people were very cultish.
yes.
The fathers of the Constitution.
Oh yeah, yeah,
We know.
yes,
A few of them had like deep interest into
yes, small
the
hand, yeah,
occult
yeah.
and things like that.
Oh
We
yeah,
know that, and the history of India.
yes, yeah,
India
yeah,
was one of the biggest, like punch in the gut.
mm, mm.
For this country there.
Well, I
You they're using like coercion and violence,
yes,
because now it's the same. It's the same. It's just
yeah.
because they don't use whips anymore.
Well, yeah, yeah, yeah. It's more
But
sneaky. Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah,
they're scaring people away. I mean, how fucking bad it is
yeah, yeah.
that
Well, that's
we don't know much about our own history.
yeah. Actually, I pointed out to this one of my friends that she didn't really believe in this stuff, and she's like, "Oh, that's ancient stuff. That stuff's gone." And I said, "Well, no, it's not. It's not gone. They just put it underground. They just don't do it right in front of your face anymore. Although that's coming back now with the
Yeah, absolutely.
transgender, and because I think they're getting sick of it. Like they're getting sick of being able, hey, well, why should we hide? Why should we have to hide our practice? We want to go back to ancient times where we can just do it in front of, do it in the center stage. So I think they're getting kind of restless about that, and that's why they're trying to bring it back to make it normalized again. And so yeah, it never went away. Like even the baby sacrifices. Like yeah, they don't go out and do it right out in public center stage, burn a baby in Moloch, but they're the Planned Parenthood's killing, the abortions and everything is the same thing. So they're making their sacrifices. They're still doing it. So
Yes, you're absolutely right, and I think this is great, man. I this the we're sure we're going into a conspiracy, and there are not theories. Okay, there's conspiracy for sure, but they're not theories. We
yeah,
know
more like
where
fact.
they
Yeah,
come from.
yeah, yeah. Now, yeah,
We don't have to dig that much. We just go
mhm,
onto Michael Tessarian's work just for
yeah,
a couple hours, and
oh
I'm
yeah,
not sure you're gonna get out of the rabbit hole
yeah.
when you
No, no,
start to
yeah,
do it. It's fucking
yes,
crazy,
yeah. His
crazy
especially that
stuff, and
female Illuminati
particularly in
stuff.
Canada, mind control and civil warfare here in
Mm,
Canada.
yeah, those
Quebec,
demonic.
Quebec is one of the forefront of the new world now.
Jeez.
I'm telling you by experience.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, I would
People
like to know how it is over there. Yeah.
people seems to like it very much.
Oh, jeez.
This false security, and
Yeah, that's
it's
disgusting.
very scary to have it like in your neighborhood, not
Right.
necessarily on your neighborhood, but in the
Well,
same place, in the same
yeah,
country.
you guys are kind of ahead. You're ahead. You're kind of ahead with the agenda. You're
Yep.
kind of like the beta. Well, China was more of the beta, but you guys are like the second beta to the introducing.
They told us like right in our faces.
Yeah, yeah, that's yeah, I know. It's scary how now they're just so what do you call what's the word? They're just so
Blunt.
arrogant.
They're
Yeah, yeah,
very
blunt.
yeah.
Yeah, they're like, okay, this is what we're doing to you, and that's scary. That's when you know something they're really
Australia
taking it
was
back.
way worse.
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah. I can't. I don't know why people at. I mean, nothing to get. I mean, I'm sure there was Australians that want to revolt, but man, I if I was them, would have probably revolted by then at that point because going in your house is taking your kids, and oh yeah, it's
Yeah.
horrible, man. I've seen it. I've seen this. I saw videos of this guy that um he actually, I think it was in America here. I was surprised, and he went in for the hospital just for I don't know, like he was sick with something minor or something, and they were trying to get him to take the vaccine, and they actually forced it on him. They forced the vaccine on him,
Wow.
and he was screwed, and he was like screaming. It was just horrible. I was like, God, it just made me so angry too. I was just like, God, if they did that to me, man, I would. I'm not even gonna,
The,
not
the
even gonna
thing,
go over that, but yeah,
I mean, we all
from that
went
point of
through
view,
it.
like,
I mean, my children don't go to school.
oh, that's good. Yeah, that's good.
We're gonna homeschool them.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I would do
So
if I had
essentially,
kids.
I'm not sending my children to any institution or government institution
Yeah,
or places.
you're smart for that, Fred. Yeah, yeah, I totally
I mean,
100%. Actually, there's a guy, Ian Spellman. He's actually starting up his own independent. He's like us. I think he knows about Michael Sarian and the whole movement, and he's actually setting up his own homeschool for that and take out all that crap. The stuff that they try to brainwash the kids with and try to knock their confidence down, and
it's
other
it's
things.
very it's very hard to break the conditioning. And but children, they're not conditioned
Yeah, yeah.
with that. My children don't have the same education that I had.
Oh,
So
yeah. Well, that's
it's
probably better.
very different.
Yep.
The parenting I'm using is very different than
Hmm.
the one because I consider myself a conscious being.
Hmm.
Means
Yep.
that I know where my rights are stopping with my children, and I mean I respect them as human being,
Hmm.
as sovereign beings. So I don't take irresponsible decision for them. I mean, just like ask them for consent,
Yeah.
things like that. It's
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
empowering for them,
Hmm.
because my parent didn't give me that.
Hmm. Yeah. That's.
So we have to show the children we can still have adults and help adults to
Hmm.
be to get out of this Stockholm syndrome slash narcissism slash hedonism part of the culture, because the culture is poisonous as hell.
Yeah.
You
Oh,
know
yeah.
this.
Yeah. That's why That's why I been holding off on kids. Me and my wife. We just. I just. I mean, part of me, I don't want them winning because I know they don't want us having as kids. But it's just like I feel like if I had one now, it'd be like it'd almost be like a sacrifice. Like they would just.
they're
So.
they're not they're not telling us to stop doing children at all.
Oh.
Never.
Oh. Oh. Okay. Okay. So
I
maybe they're.
here I'm talking
Oh,
about
not in
here
Canada.
where
Okay.
I live. No,
Oh. Okay.
they don't want that.
Oh, really? Oh, because they want the kids probably for their sick sacrifices or something. Yeah,
You,
yeah.
you don't understand really until you have them,
Well,
your
yeah.
own children,
Mm. Like, yeah,
because
that's well,
they're very precious.
yeah, yeah. I'd imagine I've like I said, if I mean, I haven't had one, but I planned it out for 20 years. That's why I
Yeah,
had. That's why I broke up with girlfriends broke up with me so much because they wanted to get vaccines. I was like, no, I'm not doing that. I already, you know, I mean, I didn't get affected too much by it, but I do believe I got, like anxiety, like social anxiety and stuff from that
sure,
MMR when I was a kid. My parents, if they would have known now, they didn't have the internet. I don't blame them for it, but actually, interestingly enough, that was Fauci. Fauci was part of making it so you couldn't sue the vaccine company in the 80s. So that directly affected me. So that really, I remember that shit. So it fucking pisses me off.
I
And
mean,
I,
I
I
mean,
I get horrified seeing a kid get injected with that, and that was my biggest thing. For a while I couldn't find a female, so I was like, no, I'm not having fucking kids until I can be
there's
pregnant.
definitely a an attack on the family unit for
Yeah.
sure,
Oh yeah.
and
Yeah.
on common sense. There's an attack on common sense and reason.
That's
Now
true. Yeah.
we have all these ABCs cult now.
Mm,
These Marxists and these intersectionalists.
mm.
They're
Yep.
they're they're
Pedophiles.
like
Yeah.
they're freshmen from universities, and they're getting out of there with like their brain totally destroyed.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh
Like
yeah. It's horrible. That's
basic.
why I don't want to have them right now. Yeah, I
I mean, my do
know.
you we don't have to send them there. We can educate them and show them how to live, really live,
Oh
you
yeah.
know.
Yeah. Give them real skills.
And
Like building
I think
houses and
I
stuff.
think I think the key here is care. Do
Yeah.
you
Yes.
care enough to be better, a better human? Do you care enough to be a better parent? If you have children, do you care of being a good brother and sister for
Hmm.
everybody? Because
Yeah. Yeah.
essentially we're sharing this ocean, and we're not different. We're not the disconnected from other people. We're all connected together,
Yeah.
and every decision in the aggregate has influences on us.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
why the problem is it come from education, and the problem comes from the culture,
Yes. Oh yeah. It definitely starts with the
laws
education system. Yeah.
laws and propaganda and government are part of the culture.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
They're
They
they're
try to
pr-
get
they're
them young. Yeah. Yeah.
programs.
Yep.
Actually, you know.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, yeah. I was, again, my parents didn't know everything, but but I was fortunate enough to have really open-minded parents. That's probably why the way I am now today, because the way I think, because yeah, I mean, yeah, nobody's perfect, but
Sure.
they really, that was the big thing that my dad would say. I don't want to. I want them to have an open mind and be able to decide things on themselves. I'm not going to fill their heads with a bunch of you know, a bunch of, to influence what they want to do. And my dad was very good about that. He didn't knock down what I wanted to do or anything. I mean, other people did, other part of the family did. And stupidly, when I was younger, I think I listened to that. I probably would have been doing this a lot earlier if I didn't have people, trying to knock down some of my things. That wasn't my parents, but the other people. So it was, and
I mean,
just toxic people around. And
I the parents. I don't know how old you are, but I'm 41, and my generation was raised into a when I was a teenager. My parents decided to make me take some meds.
oh
Um,
Jesus, oh God, yeah,
yes, so I used them for maybe a few months, and then I decided to throw them the pills.
oh
I
good,
said I'm not doing it. No, it
good,
was a fucking disaster.
yeah, fuck that, yeah,
I had to. It's like preventing you from growing up.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
That's what
I
happened to
think
my wife. Yeah, so,
I think the culture is like that. It's pathologically immature. You know,
oh yeah, yep,
the 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 um, the uh um spiritual side, the spiritual aspect of the human experience has been inverted and
yeah,
manipulated and used as a weapon.
yeah, that's for sure. Yeah,
You have all this propaganda about like mixing cult and spirituality, and it's far from being that. Spirituality is about oneself. It's
yes,
about like growing up
Hmm.
and being better with yourself and shadow working. This is one of the thing I use. Is shadow working.
Hmm.
It's a Carl Jung like concept, and it's very efficient
It's very
for
important. Yeah.
spirit
Yeah.
for
Yep.
spiritual growth and emotional growth.
Hmm.
And I would suggest everyone to look into that just for curiosity. It's incredible. uh it's very painful, but
Yes.
it's worth every
I,
effort.
I was going to ask you, Fred, about that because I hear a lot of people talking about shadow work, and I definitely agree with it. But what I was wondering is, what it now for me, if somebody was real young, the thing that I would do, I almost think I do almost too much shadow work, if that's possible. Like where I don't know if it like sometimes it can go to the extreme. I mean, I know there's a balance in it, but it just seems like well, I don't know if it's the anxiety thing that I have or something, but I'm like always ripping myself down to the point like where it's almost paralyzes me like sometimes. But I think that's just the extreme part of what I'm talking. I was just going to ask you about that,
Hmm.
because what you think, because if you're, because I think I've been a very, I mean, I'm sure I'm not perfect, but I've tried to be a good person since I've been a kid. And I really looked at everything, and I tried not to do the same behaviors as other people, and I was disgusted by it. So but then it gets to a point like I'm like so much in like, oh, I can't say that or do that. And it's just like it almost drives me nuts.
So
I don't know. Yeah.
what you're talking about is the your persona, your super ego.
Ah, okay. Okay. Yeah,
It's
all
the
right. Yeah.
super ego part. This one there is the whiner. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
you must stop this noise.
Yeah,
This is one
and
of the
I'm getting
first
better
thing
at it.
you.
I'm actually I am, since I got out there, I'm stopping it because I'm like, because I always think this stuff like, oh, I say something stupid, or I'm looking stupid or something, and then I look at it again, and I'm like, no, it was fine. So, and I'm now I'm like, no, you're not going to listen to those voices. You're just gonna, you know. So I'm glad I got out there. Like a year ago, that was hard. That was part of my problem, is going in public and stuff. But I'm really trying to work on it. But yeah,
This is the self-loathing part there.
yeah, yeah,
This is
that's
the
true.
part of yourself and been like this is the never satisfied part of you, the
Yeah,
very
yeah,
selfish part of yourself.
mm-hmm.
And you cannot get rid of this. You're gonna tame it. You
Yeah. I
have to
like you say
tame
that.
these aspect
I
of
like that you're
yourself.
more. I like that you're more realistic about it, because some people are like, "Oh, you got to completely take it out," and
No,
but
it's
no, but yeah, you
impossible.
just gotta work on it and control it, balance it out, I suppose. Yeah, and then yeah,
I don't think it's you cannot like I for me because of my experience. I think you cannot completely heal from your traumas, your past traumas. I think you
mm-hmm.
can deal with it,
Hmm.
tame it, and then control it, and then using it
Use it for good.
as a
Use it. Yeah.
tool, like
Yes. Yeah.
um, alchemy kind of things. You know, it's transmutation essentially. We're the thing I deal the most with is anger.
Yeah. Me too. Yeah.
Anger is good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anger is
Yes.
necessary,
Hmm.
and we need that
You just need to
to
channel it. You need to channel it in the right way. That's the key.
you can channel it for sure,
Yep.
or you can use it for doing actions
Well.
and
Yeah.
make something.
Yeah, that's what I get annoyed with the new age. Some of the new age, the extreme new age community, because they're always like, wow, just be positive and just think, and don't do any action. And you're like, well, yeah, right. I mean, I mean, you gotta act. The thought starts in your mind, but you have to also put it into action. So yeah, that's what annoys me. Is like, you're not gonna just float away and just think everything's going to be magical and just escape everything.
And
Yeah,
there's some things there when you go in philosophy and things like that. There's interesting like things that you can look, you know, and contemplate about it, upon it and meditate upon it. But there's things that are completely useless in the real sense of life. I mean,
Hmm.
there's things that you learn in philosophy and occult that you cannot use in everyday life.
Yes.
So they're essentially like subjective, like thing in my, because I try to be a objective, an objective person.
Hmm. Hmm.
So if I cannot take something and make it a principle, it's not that it's useless, but it's way less important.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, you use it because you can like achieve understanding about things. You know,
Hmm.
but there's things that you need to get away from. And one of the things that I start decided to go away is conspiracy theories,
Hmm. Hmm.
because there's some door opening there. You know, you're gonna start asking questions and things like that.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
essentially, the work is inside. So
Hmm.
if you want a society that is healthy, that is educated, that is spiritual in the moral sense,
Hmm.
it has to start by individuals.
Yes.
We
Yep.
have to work and grow together on the same page.
Hmm.
We
That's
need
true.
to we need to get away with cults and religions.
Hmm.
We
Yeah.
need to concentrate, and until then, political means and things are that are worthless,
Yeah.
because
Oh yeah.
people are stuck and trapped into this ego identification.
Hmm.
They're taking roles that are not theirs.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. They don't even
You
deserve it.
know, I
Yeah.
mean, it's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
I,
Yeah.
all these people that were like, I got my jabbo, and you know,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I was like,
Ugh.
oh my god, you know,
and
it.
and get and then they get hurt from it, and then they take it. I'll do it again. And that is like the worst. I mean, even some people, like, I have a little more. I don't have total respect, but I have a little more respect the one that got it, and then they talk against it, and then you're like, okay, fine, that's a little better. But to go and I'll take it again, and they're like, what the fuck, God, dude, that's Stockholm's. I mean, it's just syndrome. It's just like,
So you have
yeah,
to. It's like and I repeat it all the time. It's like we have to deal with 6 to 7 years old tall
yeah.
children.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's yeah. Fortunately, I mean, I'm in the millennial generation, but I very much do not. I was very against like most of them. I mean, there's a few good people like me that are in there, but yeah, I can't. I can't. I always couldn't stand it. Even when I was a kid, I couldn't stand the disrespect for, like, if your parent disrespect to good parents, like some people, they would just like, fuck my parents and Nickelodeon and all that stuff. And I used to, I just I hated the groups and the cliques and all that stuff. I was so glad when I got out of high school, because I was just so sick of, and people, and even some of my family, they still continue to act like high schoolers even when they're out of high school. It just never. So I just cut that part of the family off. I was done. I was done with that anyway. So now I don't have to worry about their judgmental crap and even care anymore. So it's just like, but yeah,
This was a test, and we failed it
yep.
badly.
Mhm.
I mean,
Oh yeah.
in 1 week here in
Hmm.
Quebec, in 1 week, people like lost their fucking minds.
Yeah, yeah. I know. I didn't even. I knew about. I was always against the vaccines. Well, since I was 17 or 18. So I was against the flu shot, all that other stuff too, all the
Hmm.
other stuff. And I had a feeling, like, about 10 years ago, I had this argument with the vaccine pusher, because there was a lot of these people, and they'd make make us anti-vaxxers look like idiots. And I used to really dig on them. I mean, there was some people that didn't have their facts straight, but I used to really piss them off. And this one lady's like, "Well, we're gonna, there's gonna be a time where everybody's gonna be vaccinated, and we're gonna take your kids away if you don't get vaccinated." I said, "Well, yeah, you do that, you do that and see what there's going to be a revolution if you start that. I was hoping at the time, but yeah, I had it wasn't didn't surprise me. I mean, kind of, it didn't surprise me that they were going to do this. I knew at one certain point they were going to try to mandatory vaccine thing. So I was like, I didn't fall for it even in the beginning. And my dad, it's in the book, part of it, but he talks about,
The
he was
vaccine,
working.
the vaccine
Yeah.
part came later. I'm not
Yeah.
talking about the vaccine part. I'm
Oh,
this is the magic part.
okay.
You know
Yeah.
what I
Yeah.
mean? The
Yeah.
words.
Oh, the words. Yeah. 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 That's a whole other thing. Yeah. Yeah. My mom's really into that too. The words.
So
She's been breaking words down, and it's like,
they
it's
push
great.
they push this narrative. This They were saying keywords and then repeating it and then
Oh,
using
yeah. Yeah.
color patterns, and then
Yeah.
they were using children and then the elderly
Hmm.
people to push their
Emotional.
things, and
I call it emotional porn when they
the
I
fear
have a
porn.
yeah, fear porn,
Yes,
emotional porn, when they
yes.
put a bunch of kids in to get support for, like the school shootings and all that stuff. They try to, like, oh well, we got to give our guns away because of the kids, and then what's sick is they'll, when they're supposed to be protecting the kids, then they talk against people trying to protect their kids, like from the vaccine. So it's like, inverted, the whole thing. They invert everything. And
I think the this is why we must push for healing the divides between people. This is where we have to
hmm
stop and then say, God damn it, just fucking grow up.
hmm
It's time to grow up now, because we're arriving as a split, and we have to take
hmm
and most people don't think like us.
yeah,
Most people don't have critical thinking.
unfortunately, yeah, yeah, I know
So
that's
it makes societies dangerous for the individual.
oh yeah, especially us, huh? Yeah. You and me,
I mean,
like
I mean,
burned
this
as a witch.
this it's not. It's over now. No, don't people don't talk about this anymore. The vaccine, and oh, you have to do it, or you're not gonna be taken care at the hospital and things like
Oh
that.
yeah, yeah. I
And
can't
I
even go
was
to the hospital. Yeah, yeah. I'm not
I
even gonna
was like I
pretend.
was like, you think we're gonna forget that? You know, you
Yeah,
think
yeah.
we can? It has been 3 years of discrimination
Yeah,
and
hmm
garbage. People
yeah.
were still, and they're really are into this cult. This is a cult now. No, you
Mhm.
think the government cult was bad? The COVID cult is even worse.
Yeah, yeah. This is really
Worse.
right out in your face. Yeah,
You
right
have
out
you
there.
have a cult fueling on fear
Yeah.
and lies.
Yeah. I still
You
see
know.
people wearing masks. Today I was going in the grocery store,
Hmm.
and I was like, they don't even need to. It's not even required now, but they're still wearing it. I'm just like, what the what the hell is, I don't know, it's like a political statement or what they're trying to do, but I just, yeah, it just pisses me off so much. I mean, I almost wanted to say something. I think I will sometimes, because I'm getting to the point that, not getting a fight with them, but just like, why the fuck are you wearing that
Oh,
mask? Or like into that muzzle, what the hell, and it's long over, and even if it was, it doesn't, you always, well, know the whole thing about it, the mask being the side, the pore sizes being a lot bigger than the virus. So it goes right through. The whole thing was stupid. And I mean, yeah, I'm
yeah.
sure you talk to that about
In the
that.
hospital in Canada, we have to wear masks into hospitals still, and I'm like,
Yeah, yeah, over here
are
too.
you
Yeah,
fucking kidding me?
yeah. That's why
You're
my
you're
won't go anywhere near them.
straight up lying to people,
Yeah, yeah,
right in their faces. I'm
yeah,
like, I'm not wearing this fucking thing,
yeah.
you
That's what
know. I'm not
my
breathing, you know. So,
yeah, yeah. My mom, she's been really sick for the last 2 years, and she had like heart problems and stuff like that, and the breathing problems. She didn't take the vaccine; she was against that. But I don't know if something in the hospital they want to give her before COVID. But anyway, she told us, she said, if I'm dying, don't bring me to the hospital. Just let me die, because
hmm.
and then me too, and we all agreed that no, don't call the hospital, because I'm not getting injected with that fucking thing. And I feel like it would like be do something to my soul or something. I don't know. It's just like it'd be better to die than that goddamn thing in me. So So we all agreed to that. We're like, nope, not calling the hospital.
I mean, and it's going
Yeah.
back to natural law, you know.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. That violate. That's extreme violation of natural law. Yeah. That's just. Yeah. Oh man, that angers me the most. Like
Yes.
I mean,
The
just.
the the
I want to
all
strangle. I would, especially a kid. I'd want to kill him. The doctor. I mean, I'd strangle the
yes,
hell out of him. I mean, that's how
absolutely.
pissed. I would be in jail. I mean, I'd definitely be in jail if that happened. If I had kids, not.
Oh, I've been very vocal with that,
Oh,
you
good.
know,
I'm
with
glad. Yeah.
most people. So, you know,
Yeah.
they know where I stand, and we
Oh,
should
good.
all
Oh,
do
yeah.
it.
Well, yeah, it's your damn kids. So yeah, that's yeah, people really gotta. Yeah, that was really. I thought maybe my dad used to say he's like, well, they're only revolt when they go after their food and they go after the kids, but when they went, I didn't see much resistance after they went after the kids, and that really depressed me. I mean, I was like,
Yeah,
wow, this is really messed up. I mean, people won't even protect their kids anymore, and most, the minority does, but not majority. So
I have a short video in French, and I'm calling people out. I'm calling the parents of
yeah,
Quebec out,
no
and I'm
good.
fucking telling them, brother,
Yeah,
right in their faces.
yeah.
You
Well,
know,
you did. It's
look,
war now, man. It's war. It's got to the point that
we
it's
need
not being nice
to.
anymore.
No, exactly. You're
Yeah,
absolutely
yeah,
right.
yeah, yeah. I mean,
We don't
it's
have to be pleasing
yeah,
and
it's over the
polite
line.
anymore. You know.
Well, that's what I hate too. I hate how like because before they what's the name of there's trying to remember, let me look it up here real quick. um it said there was an act, sedition act or something of 1790 or something. I'm trying to look at that, where they made it illegal to criticize a politician or something, because I get so annoyed with how proper they are in Congress, and the judge. You got to be so nice to the judge when he's like fucking your rights over, and I'm just like, why can't people, like, why can't it be like the forefathers when it first started? They were having fist fights and they were cursing like, God damn it, and and now it's so pussified. Like, it's just like you can't, you got to be so proper in front of the judge, or and that annoys me so much, man. It's like, especially when they're screwing you. It's like, yeah, I gotta be nice with you now. It's like, it's like, but yeah, I mean, I'm,
Yeah,
I'm not saying,
you're gonna use these pronouns. You know,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
this is
yeah, the
what
pro, yeah, yeah, it's ridiculous.
garbage. It's
Yeah,
fucking garbage.
yeah,
This is what it is. I don't agree with them, and I'm very vocal about this. I'm not gonna use them.
hmm,
I don't
yeah,
care.
no,
I
fuck
don't
that.
care if you do whatever you want with your life, but when
Yeah,
you're imposing, and this is the same thing with government
yeah,
or any authority, when you're pushing your garbage onto people's freedom, you know, and free will and
yeah,
freedom of speech, you know, it's fucking war.
yeah. It's over the line, man. Yeah, they crossed the line.
And
Well, they crossed the line a long time ago, but this really crossed the line.
what what was the reason of the first revolution? Like 0.3% of taxes on tea,
Yeah,
something
yeah, I
like
know, I
that.
know. That's like nothing compared to now. Jesus, like, we got property tax, death tax, income tax. Yeah, and it just keeps on, and they just keep on adding more permits to what you can do with your house, and and even when you pay off your house, you still got to pay the property taxes.
Yeah.
And well, actually, that's why I'm building my own cabin, because
Hmm.
I was like, fuck it. And you know how ridiculous the houses are inflated, with the shit materials they use too. So I was like, no,
Yep.
I'm losing logs. It's going to take, it's going to be more work, but it's going to be more solid. I'm going to have logs, and none of that chemical crap. As much as I can't have, I don't even like doing the concrete part, but I had to get over that. But yeah, I'm kind of a weirdo with that. So I try to make it as natural as possible. But yeah, yeah, and I figured, well, this is going to be, I'm going to save a bunch on my mortgage. So I'm not going to go to some real estate asshole and have to pay for them, and then pay for their inflated construction costs and all that. So I advise people to get around this, build your own log cabin, even if it's small at first, just add on to it later. I just build it yourself. You'll save a lot of money. So,
I mean, get away from the cities first.
well, yeah, that's where I'm
Stay
trying. I
away
mean,
from the
yeah,
cities.
yeah. I mean, I'm I'm away. I'm pretty. I'm still like in a town, rural area, but I know, yeah, I'd even like to get away from the town, but that's not a, you know, I can't do that right
I
now.
mean,
But
I'm
a
living
hermit.
in a place with 1,700 people.
Oh, okay.
Uh,
Well, that's good. Yeah, that's
yeah,
not too bad.
it's pretty it's between mountains and things like
Yeah,
that.
good.
So
Yeah, that's what you want. Yeah.
there's plenty of space there.
Yeah.
Um, but there's snow outside. It's fucking freezing.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, it was well, not it's probably not as cold as over there, but this year, yeah, Oregon was it was.
I
Well,
heard
I'm in a
you.
tent. I'm sleeping in a tent while I'm doing
I
this.
heard America is getting cold
Yeah.
now.
Oh yeah, it got really cold. Yeah, and it
Welcome,
had ice.
welcome in
Yeah,
winter.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I know. It's just, oh man, yeah. Yeah, I mean, usually, I'm a Viking usually too. I got Viking blood, and I usually like it. But this was almost, in the tent, and it was like it got kind of wet in there, and then the mattress, like underneath it, the ice, it was ice underneath. It was like fucking ice under our mattress. Like, god damn it, that's why I'm trying to get the cabin done, but people are flaking out, and I had like 5 people. Like, I don't know if it's because of the political stuff at first. So then I switched to my my wife's account to trick them into, so they didn't see all my political, all my, anti New World Order stuff. And because I swear that's why some of them flaked out on me. But anyways, yeah, there's a guy. Hopefully, he's gonna get him pretty soon here, so I can start building it again. So get out of that tent,
Yeah, yeah. It's no time to build now here, man. It's fucking
Well, yeah, probably,
where
yeah. Yeah, so we don't get a lot of
everything.
snow. Yeah, it doesn't, and it melts pretty quick. So yeah, yeah, we don't get like you guys, like probably foot, like a 2 feet of snow or something. Yeah.
I had to like I came back from somewhere after 2 days, and there was a snowfall, and I couldn't fucking enter my own
Oh
my.
Jesus. Yeah.
It was crazy, like a foot and a half or two.
Oh my God.
Like
Jump off your roof almost. Yeah. Yeah. Into the snow.
I had to shovel all this to make a place for my car. It's crazy.
Oh God. Yeah. I was in the Pocono. I used to live in Pennsylvania in the Poconos, and
Yeah,
yeah, we used to. Yeah, that was all. I was such a pain in the ass, like constant, especially when the ice.
we're getting used to it. My children like love
Yeah.
to
Well,
play
yeah. Yeah.
outside in the cold, so we're getting used to
Yeah.
it.
I
You know, but
actually don't. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. No.
you go, no problem.
Yeah, yeah, like, yeah, it's actually, um, I actually prefer it a little colder because when I was a teenager, I used to live in San Diego, California for like 13 and 20 something. And I used to hate the sun out all the time. I used to hate it, man. I was just like, I like the seasons and the thunderstorms and all that and the cold. And it was just like, that's why then I moved back to Pennsylvania because I don't know, well, the fires too. It was like fires all the time. And yeah, I'm more Viking blood, so I don't
Hmm.
I
Yeah,
live better in the cold. I even leaving the window open. I leave the window open to let the cold, fire and ice is what I like. I like the window open when it's in the winter and the wood stove going.
I mean,
So
I can we can trade
yeah.
places. I know I can put my children in the in the sun. You know, I
Yeah,
wouldn't
yeah.
mind. You know.
Well, yeah, yeah. I know it's, yeah. I mean, you do miss it. I'm a weirdo. I'm like a vampire or something.
I mean,
Like,
this is it sleeps well when it's cold. You
oh
know, it
yeah, yeah.
sleeps
Oh
well.
yeah. That's what I love about
But there's a lot of things that comes with it. You know,
it. Oh
like
yeah.
icy roads and things like that. It's fucking
Yeah,
dangerous.
yeah,
And
yeah.
for some reason, Canadians forget what winter is, and every time there's the first snow, everybody's in the gutter for some reason. You know, there's
Oh
always
man.
like hundreds of people who
Oh
don't know what the winter is anymore.
man.
You know, and
God.
people are fucking like, "Oh my god, it's snowing!" You know, and people are in the ditch. You know,
Oh
but
Jesus.
it's
Yeah.
crazy,
Yeah.
crazy.
That's. Oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's a fucking I mean, I would like more to live like in the middle of Earth, you know, in the middle lane where it's always sunny. It's my
Well.
kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
I'm sure when
I
I'm
would
sure when I. Yeah.
I would miss winter
Yeah.
for some reasons. I would miss it.
Yeah. 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 Well, here in Oregon, it is pretty mild. It's a real. It doesn't get up. It only gets up to the 20s, maybe 15 sometimes, but mostly it's like the 30s. It never goes into negatives or really anything.
Hmm.
So.
You're
So it's not,
lucky.
yeah, it's a mild, yeah, more rainy winter kind of thing. But
Like
yeah,
fucking minus 30, like sometime
yeah.
minus 40 with
Oh,
the
that's
wind. That's
oh
just
man,
crazy. You don't
no,
go out. You don't bring your children out when it's
no, you're
minus
like
40.
basically dead. I mean, you basically frostbite immediately, probably. I would imagine. Like,
Don't go
you know,
and pee outside when it's
yeah,
minus
yeah, I was
30,
gonna say that. Yeah, yeah, you might not have it after. Yeah, yeah, that's funny. Yeah, yeah, but yeah, that's yeah. Well,
It's
I
good
hope
stuff.
it
And
warms up over there for you, though. I mean, I hope it.
the
I
the
hope, I,
the thing
yeah,
is here in Quebec, the temperature, you're absolutely right on that. The seasons,
yup,
it's
yeah,
it's so beautiful.
yeah.
You know,
It just, yeah, yeah,
we're always happy to see the spring and the snow is
hmm
melting and you have this smell and you can
hmm
see the trees, and the fly
yeah, yeah.
and they're so beautiful. This is so
Yeah,
beautiful.
you get like
And
it's like a natural high. You get a natural high from that. It's
ex,
just,
ex,
yeah,
ex,
yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
And we miss the sun a lot. When getting in February, I think
Yeah,
it's the one of the worst part. We're missing so much the
yeah.
sun.
February gets depressing. Yeah, yeah. That's when yeah, especially in the end of January. Yeah, and even around here. I mean, I kind of, it's like you like it for a couple months and then you start getting it. Yeah, it's creepy. For some reason, it has a creepy, depressing feeling in February.
Yeah, there's a lot of things happening too,
Probably on the.
before the
You
winter. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Happy solstice to
Oh yeah,
you.
I was gonna say that. Yeah, I was gonna say that too. Yeah, happy solstice. Yeah, yeah, we're having a big celebration tonight, so we're gonna have some goulash, some shrimp and stuff, and some wine and stuff. So
Really
yeah, yeah, yeah. My parents are big on Yule. We got the Yule log and all that. Yeah, so, yeah.
awesome.
They're not too much into Christmas. They kind of, I guess they're okay. They kind of celebrate it, but they're more Yule's more of a thing. So the more proper, it's proper time to pretty celebrate anyways. You
So I want thank you again,
Oh,
Kurt,
thank you for,
for being there, man. And I enjoyed this conversation. And
oh, me too, Fred. Yeah.
um, this is always if people, if you're interested in what you heard, you can go on his website and there his book. Can you give the
Yeah.
people the information?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, you can go to my website at www.kwholin.com. Again, that's www.kwholin.com. And then I do have, I could show the book. Well, I think you showed it, but I have, let's see here. I have two versions of the book. This is the unabridged one. Um, it's you can tell the difference by there's blood on the sword or the unabridged, and then there's, it'll say in red on a unabridged, and then the other ones and doesn't have any blood on the sword with abridged, and it's up, it's in green letters. So just so you know which version if you get. So so and like
So
I said,
yeah,
yeah,
it's I mean you there's so much good information like to go outside. And this is a book, and this book can like open your doors, and then you go and look into more deeper into these rabbit hole that we're calling uh the history of the pre-war, the pre-revolution, and where when how it starts, because it's the why is very, it is very interesting too. What was the motivation behind it, and the history of the founders and things like that. There are like it's a whole life story, study, about politics and natural law. And the abolitionist, Corey Andulat, Kurt. If you want to see him, Corey Andulat he's making a whole work about
oh,
abolitionism.
oh
If
yeah,
you
yeah.
if you want to go there, it's awesome. It's always
Could you
clear, concise.
could you send that
Sure.
his name in the chat for
Yeah.
me on
When we're
Facebook?
done,
Yeah,
I'm
I'll
gonna
look at it.
send it to
Okay.
you.
Awesome. Yeah. Yeah. I'd love to look at that new information. I'm always looking for new information. So, so
Yeah, it's the abolitionism is essentially the old anarchists. They were
Oh,
before it was anarchy.
oh, okay. Oh, wow.
So
Okay.
it's explained it beautifully.
Mm-hmm.
They were very smart, and they were,
Mm-hmm.
they were important people who was abolitionists. So it's very
Oh,
good stuff.
oh, yeah. I'll check that out. Definitely. Yeah. Yeah.
So thank you very much, people. Thank you again for being there. And tomorrow it's gonna be in French, and I'm having Jeremy for a alternative health um, medicine, and it's gonna be colloidal silver and gold
Mm. Oh, yeah.
tomorrow.
Yeah. Cool.
So it's gonna be in French. So unfortunately, if you don't understand French, you can go and the information is it's very fascinating. The colloidal gold that you can consume and you can take in, and it's very good for health. So thank you guys, and see you next time in English. Sure.